So we got more spoilers for 1163. This is expanding upon the crazy spoilers that we went over yesterday. And we might have a patch update to Imu's Dami Reversy ability, because that was subject of discourse yesterday. Given that we found out that at the end of the chapter, Imu is going to Dami Reversy rocks. And it's coming in the form of a really interesting theory that's been going around the community in the last 24 hours. And we'll get into that for sure, but first, let's go over the spoilers from yesterday really quick, and then we'll get into the expanded spoilers. Imu calls Rox Davy Jones, but Rox replies he's not that guy. But I do agree that what is promised must be fulfilled. Big Mom joins the trio in the battle. They attack together and the scene changes. The Roger pirates still clash with the Rox pirates, who start fighting each other. John versus Ganzui. Garp and Roger join against Imu. Zebek and his top three all attack together. There's an epic double page with Rox, Roger, Garp, Whitebeard, Kaido, and Big Mom attacking Imu all together. But even with that massive attack, Imu recovers. The chapter ends with Imu using Dami Reversy on Rox and ordering to kill his family. So now going more into these worst gen spoilers that we're getting. Captain John has Kid's Devil Fruit, and Ganzui has the Bomb Bomb Fruit, which is Mr. Five's Devil Fruit. We see how Dragon gets pulled out by the magnet power of Captain John. That's pretty interesting, right? And there was actually a clue to this. It was in chapter 1161 where we just see like this one panel of the Rox pirates like running to get Shocky. And on the side, we see Captain John, and he has like this big mechanical hand. I'm not gonna lie, when I first read this chapter, I kind of just glanced over this panel. I didn't like examine it that thoroughly, but others for sure have, and they noted that he probably has Kid's Devil Fruit, and I guess it's straight up being confirmed in this chapter that he does. So obviously we know that Captain John dies at some point, not at God Valley, but just in general, because he's a freaking zombie on Thriller Bark, and then eventually his Devil Fruit gets recycled, and then Kid gets it some way, and then this guy Ganzui has Mr. Five's Devil Fruit, so yeah, that's kind of cool, I guess. We're gonna see this happen more often as we go into the flashbacks. Like, we're gonna see the previous owners of Devil Fruit and stuff. Especially once we get to the Void Century, we're gonna see like all of the legendary original users of the Devil Fruit. So that's gonna be pretty cool. Zebek, Roger, Garp, and the others used insane, powerful named moves. Unfortunately, without success. Imu heals immediately and unleashes an insane burst of Conqueror's Haki, knocking out all the fodders on the island. Regarding this, Rox and them used advanced Conqueror's Haki against Imu. We get named attacks from Whitebeard after 15 years. And he also says, in context of Imu and Zebek's dialogue at the beginning of the chapter, Imu says he has to eliminate them all to bring his world to completion. Imu's talking about the Davies and the D. So yeah, Imu is incredibly powerful, just taking all of these named attacks, and also a named attack from Whitebeard after 15 years, apparently. That's pretty cool. And as we speculated, of course, they're using Advanced Conqueror's Haki. I mean, I don't know if Big Mom and Kaido are. I don't know if they're that strong at this point, but Rox, Roger, and Garp for sure are. Maybe Whitebeard is too. And Imu is not even like in their true form. They're just taking over Saturn at this point. So yeah, Imu is for sure strong enough to be the final villain of this series. And as these long shonen battle mangas typically go, the final boss becomes just way too powerful. And I also think that kind of is a detriment to these series sometimes, because they don't scale the good guys or the protagonists enough to be able to defeat them without just randomly getting strong enough at the end of the series out of nowhere, which typically happens, you know? And I'm not trying to get ahead of myself with saying that this is going to happen in One Piece, although it's a good possibility. And I do like that Imu is pretty powerful, of course. I mean, like, just taking all of these strongest characters of their time all at once and then just coming back from it is crazy. And like I talked about in the previous video, we already saw how strong Imu was implied to be. They were essentially fighting everyone from the Void Century, from the Ancient Kingdom side, and still winning. Like, they didn't lose that battle, they won. I mean, we don't know how, but still, you know, an inch or a mile, winning's winning. And then as for them saying they have to take out all of the Ds to bring their world to completion, it's like, why are you still letting them live then? Before Zebek was transformed into a demon, Imu manipulated him with evil intentions, mind game, making him more angry and even hurting him. It seems Imu did this deliberately so that he/she could use Dami Reversy on Zebek. So this is part of the patch update, I guess, for Dami Reversy. Maybe there has to be like some mental preamble to influence the person to succumb to it, you know, very devil analogous, which is fine. Rock should have just been able to power through that mentally, although maybe he does. But also, let's get into the true possible patch update for this ability, because the theory going around is that for Imu to even use Dami Reversy successfully on you, it needs to be done on a person while they're in their homeland. And this makes sense, because technically, all of the people that we have seen successfully Dami Reversied have been people while they're in their native land. Like the Giants at Elbaf, and then the Davy clan on God Valley. And it doesn't seem like that's just a coincidence. It's very concentrated to those specific instances. So I think this is like the prerequisite to Dami Reversy, which is better than what it originally was. It's still a pretty broken ability, but I'll give Oda his flowers for this if this is truly the balancing act of the Dami Reversy ability, because if it doesn't have this, then it's just utterly broken. It's still really good with the patch update for sure, because it's like, you just kind of do it, you know? At least with Sugar's Devil Fruit, you know, making people in the toys, she had to make physical contact with you, and her being like a little girl is somewhat of a balancing act to it. But I guess since Imu is the final villain of the series, they need to be despicably powerful and have some broken abilities where it's just, hey, I decide to do this to you and now you're a subservient demon to me. It's also very possible that if this is how Dami Reversy works, which we don't know why it works this way, I'm sure we'll find out in the Void Century or whatever once it's revealed what Imu's power truly is, which at this point it's probably not even technically a devil fruit. It might just be Imu like straight up taking the concentrated power of the devil or that dragon thing and implementing it into themselves, like even before devil fruits were made, possibly. But if the Dami Reversy having to be used on somebody in their homeland works, it might later on reveal like a character's homeland that we didn't know about if Dami Reversy is used on them. You know, like maybe a Straw Hat, maybe another character similar to a Straw Hat gets Dami Reversy and it's like, oh wow, you were born here? We didn't know that. I'm sure that's where it's going. Maybe Nami, maybe Brook. Those are like the two real big mystery characters, I guess, at this point, because it was being hinted that Brook has some kind of significance to him that we didn't really know about yet. And then Nami, of course, is just a blank slate. Oda can easily just fill in the blanks for her backstory at this point, since she hasn't been fleshed out at all yet. But yeah, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, guys. Tomorrow, we're going to be going over the full summary, hopefully, if we get it. And then after that, you know, we'll go over the full chapter. So subscribe for that if you haven't already, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.